Hello my dear friends, let us start learning. Most of the students sitting here might be from non-CS and IS background and really not know what is programming all about. There will be few students sitting here and listening to the lecture who are from CS and IS background but really not know what is programming all about. So, let us begin from that basic concept of what is programming all about. Please do take the heading as Introduction to Programming. I repeat, Introduction to Programming. Okay. Please don't copy anything until I tell you to copy. Keep your pens aside. Just listen to the lecture carefully. Remember, this word called as programming was only not there before 1940s. If you ask me, sir, why programming was not there before 1940s? Programming was not there before 1940s because computers only was not there before 1940s. Again a student might ask, sir, why computers was not there before 1940s? Because in this real world, there were only two components. One is the conductor, one more is the insulator. Just because there were only two components in this world, one is the conductor, one more is the insulator, you did not have computers. Well, I can see a big question mark on your face, sir. We had only two materials, so we did not have computer. What is the relation, sir, you might ask? Remember, if you want to design a computer or if you want to prepare a computer, you need semiconductor technology. Until 1940s, there was nothing called as semiconductors. There was only conductors or insulators, but in 1940s, something called as semiconductor technology came into existence. By using semiconductor technology, people started building diodes. By using diodes, people started building the transistors. By using transistors, one wonderful device on the earth got invented, which is the microprocessor, or I would like to call it as a machine, because the heart of any machine is microprocessor. And remember, I would represent the microprocessor like this always. Always I would represent it like this only. This is microprocessor. Mu P in short. So, for the first time in 1940s, microprocessor came into existence. And I have told you, this microprocessor is built out of transistors, transistors is built out of diodes, diodes is built out of semiconductor technology. So, ultimately what I can conclude is this microprocessor is a semiconductor technology device. Don't copy, carefully listen. Microprocessor is a semiconductor technology device. With the invention of microprocessor, people started building computers and machines. People were very happy in 1940s. If you ask me, sir, why people were very happy just for the introduction of computer and microprocessor? Remember, before the invention of microprocessor, whatever the job or task people had, they were doing it on themselves. Means, if say supposing a human being should add two large numbers, they were only adding it. If they want to subtract or multiply or divide or do any other operation for that matter, people by themselves was doing manually. Because of the invention of microprocessor, because of the invention of computers and machines, people started telling their jobs to computers or machines or microprocessor for that matter. People's work, human beings' work was being done by machine, and always we as human beings, we are the utmost happiest people to have our work being done by someone else. Am I not correct? If your clothes is being washed by your mom or dad or your brother or sister, whoever it is, we feel very happy. If our dishes is done by someone else, we are very happy. Just imagine how it would be you washing your own clothes. We don't like it, because to that extent we are lethargic. We human beings are lethargic. So back by then also in 1940s, people, whatever the jobs they were doing, they started telling it to microprocessor, because microprocessor can do jobs. So people in 1940s was very, very happy. On the other hand, they were not so happy also. If you ask me, sir, why? If this fellow wants to do a job, then people has to tell him, and telling him to do a job was the biggest problem. If people wants to add two numbers, they can tell it to this person. But telling itself was the biggest problem, because you cannot tell to microprocessor, hey microprocessor, please add two numbers, like that. In the human communication language, you cannot tell him. That is the biggest problem with respect to microprocessor. He will not understand human communication language like English or Hindi or Kannada or Telugu or Tamil or Malayalam, Gujarati, Punjabi. No. None of the human communication language he would understand. If you will ask me, sir, then what he would understand? He would understand only two things, which is either 0 or 1. Again, few students might just get carried away as soon as I tell 0 and 1. It is not actually the digit 0 and 1 that he would understand. Remember, he is made out of semiconductor technology. He is made out of transistors and diodes. What he can understand is two voltages. One is the low volt, 0 volt. One more is the high volt. High volt means not 210 or 240 volts, plus 5 volts. 0 volt is low volt, plus 5 volts is high volt. So what your microprocessor can understand is either the low voltage or high voltage. That low voltage is represented as 0 and high voltage is represented as 1. So ultimately point is very, very simple. What your microprocessor can understand is either 0 or 1. And if a human being wants to communicate with the processor, you have to communicate by using zeros and ones. So people back by then in 1940s, to tell him to do something, they have invented one codes which has zeros and ones, like this. If say supposing human being wants to tell him to add, then he would have told to microprocessor like this, 0 1 0 0 1 0 1 1, like that they would have told. If microprocessor wants to subtract, or if human being wants to subtract and tell it to microprocessor, then one more code they have invented, 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 1. If microprocessor probably wants to multiply, or human being wants the microprocessor to multiply, then they have invented a code 1101 1101. Similarly, to divide, 0010 0011. Many other operations also were there, but for every operation one code they have developed, and they called this code as opcode or operational code. So for the first time in 1940s, people started communicating with microprocessor by using opcodes, which has the combinations of zeros and ones like this. And remember, telling the microprocessor what to do in the language that he understands is only called as programming all about. I repeat, telling the microprocessor what to do is only called as programming. So for the first time machine came into existence in 1940s, people started telling microprocessor what to do in 1940s, hence programming came into existence in 1940s. Telling microprocessor to add is only called as programming. Programming the processor, telling the processor. Telling microprocessor to subtract is only called as programming the processor. Telling the microprocessor to multiply or divide is only called as programming. In 1940s, for the first time, programming or telling a microprocessor was done by using opcodes, just because this is the language that machine or microprocessor will understand. This language, which had zeros and ones, they called it as machine level language or MLL. So for the first time in 1940s, people started programming or telling the processor what has to be done in machine level language. People told processor, look processor, add, like that in machine level language they told. Microprocessor understands zeros and ones, happily added, and he gave the output. This is what was happening in 1940s. So partially people were happy, partially people were not happy. That is what I told. Why partially people were happy? Because their job someone else is doing. Adding this fellow is doing, subtraction this fellow is doing, multiplying this fellow is doing, dividing this fellow is doing. Partially unhappy because they have to tell him to add or subtract or multiply or divide or any operation to be done in this language. And this language is very, very difficult for the human beings to remember. This is very, very easy for machine, but for human beings this is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult it is. Simply now if I will ask you, tell me what is opcode for multiply. You have seen it, I have written it in front of you only. Can you tell it? You cannot tell, because remembering numbers is difficult. Human brain, is not designed to store numbers. In your phone, so many phone numbers you have. Can you remember and tell 10 phone numbers? Not possible. Not at all possible. Our human brain is not designed to store numbers. Forget about everything. Today, if I will ask you what is your first semester's probably physics marks or chemistry marks, most of you will not be able to tell it only. Even though you are inside the college, you are in the 8th semester or 7th semester, whatever it is, your first semester particular marks, if I will ask you, you will not tell, because marks is a number. It's a number. Human brain is not designed to store numbers in that zeros and ones numbers, it seems. Nothing else you have, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. And don't think, really this was the opcode, really this was the opcode. I am not a superhuman or chitty robo, to remember these numbers. Some random numbers I have written to tell you that this is how the opcodes would look, or this is how the code in the machine level language would look. People really got frustrated because of this language, machine level language. They are happy, they are very eager to tell him to do their job, but telling in this language was a very big problem to them. 1945, 46, 47, 48, somehow they have struggled. Number of operations grew, number of opcodes grew. People started becoming mad. How mad people became, those people who was programming to microprocessor, those people who were communicating to microprocessor from morning to evening, they went to their home. Their mother asked, do you want coffee or tea? Or their mother asked, do you want coffee? That person would have told 10110010. That is a code for yes. Do you want coffee? Yes, he has to tell. But he forgot yes. 10110010. That only was there in his mind, because you have to by heart this bloody numbers which has zeros and ones. People really got frustrated by the end of 1940s, and this frustration led to the invention of a new language which is used to program the processor. If you will ask me, sir, what new language? This opcodes or machine level language came into existence in 1940s, as I have told you. By the end of 1940s, people got frustrated. That frustration led to invention of new language in 1950s. If you ask me, sir, what language? In 1950s, people invented a new language to program the processor which do not have the numbers like this. Rather, it had the names. What I am trying to tell is, if a programmer or if a person wants to tell processor to add, he need not tell like this. He can simply tell like this, add, like that he can tell, which has the name like that, add. He need not tell this to subtract. If he tells SUB, it is sufficient. He need not tell like this to multiply. If he tells MUL, it is sufficient. DIV is sufficient. That much is sufficient. A new language to tell processor what has to be done or to program processor came into existence. That language did not have the numbers, rather it had names. That names, they called it as mnemonic. M is silent, mnemonic. So, this is the mnemonic to add, this is the mnemonic to sub, this is the mnemonic to multiply, this is a mnemonic to div. And this language, they called it as the assembly level language. People were very, very happy. They were literally very happy because they were fed up with this. New programming language or new language to instruct the processor which do not have numbers. Oh my God, just imagine the people of 1950s. Someone else is doing their job and they have to tell in that language which do not have numbers. They were really very, very happy and they started instructing the processor in this language. Add, ADD, like that they told to processor. Add processor, like that they told by using mnemonic. Processor told get lost. If you ask me, sir, why get lost? Just now I have told you, microprocessor is a semiconductor technology device. What he will understand is 0 and 1. What are you telling? ADD add. 2 only he will not understand. 3 numbers only he will not understand apart from 0 and 1. You are telling ADD add. He told, no, I did not understand. That is when for the first time something called as assembler got introduced. I repeat, assembler got introduced. If you ask me, sir, what is this assembler? New term you are using. Very simple. Assembler is a software which takes assembly level language as input and produces corresponding machine level language as output. That is what is the duty of assembler. Means you instruct the processor in this language, assembly level language. Give that instructions to assembler. What assembler does? Assembler will convert this assembly level language to machine level language. If assembler sees add, there it will place this. If assembler sees sub, there it will place this. That is what is the duty of assembler. Assembler will take assembly level language as input and produces corresponding machine level language as output. That is what it does. That converted machine level language instructions, if you will give it to a processor, processor will happily understand and execute. People in 1950s were very, very, very happy because someone else is doing their job and they are instructing the processor in the assembly level language which do not have zeros and ones. Of course, with the help of assembler. This software they built with the help of assembler. Oh, okay, sir. From then on till now, we are using assembly level language only? No, 100% no. As the number of operations grew, add, sub, multi, okay. Many other operations also came off because human beings, are very greedy. If he is doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, it is not sufficient. Many other operations he has to do. That is what is the expectation from a machine. Whatever we tell machine has to do or processor has to do. Number of operations grew. As number of operations grew, names also grew. And remember, human brain is worst in remembering numbers. It really cannot remember numbers. And you cannot claim that human brain is best in remembering names. Certainly no. It is not at its best in remembering names. Actually speaking, you have written assembly level language programs in your microprocessor and microcontroller subjects in your college or labs. You have written the same, by using the same mnemonics only you have written. Today suddenly if I will ask you, what is the mnemonic for left shift or what is the mnemonic for right shift? I bet 90% of the students will not tell. You have written, but you will not tell. Why? Why? Because those are names, and remembering names is not so easy task for human brain. Situations in the real world also you would have faced. Someone in the road while going, probably you will see that person, a person coming from opposite, you will see. Your brain will tell, you have seen him somewhere, but what is the name? You don't know. Few people like me, will go way beyond it. That person will be coming, your brain will recognize who is it. Means the face he will recognize. What is the name? You don't know. You stop, you speak to him. 4-5 minutes you speak. You tell, okay, goodbye. That fellow also will go, you also will go. Full from there until you go to your home and until your brain get distracted. Who is that fellow? What is his name? What is his name? That only your brain would be telling. Because your brain is not designed to store many names. Some names okay. That too very frequently using names it will remember. But certainly not many names which is not frequently being used. People got frustrated with assembly level language also. Because as the number of mnemonics grew, they were really unable to remember those names. That is when in 1960s, remember, that is when in 1960s a new type of language people introduced to communicate with him or to tell him what has to be done or to program the processor in 1960s, which did not contain the numbers, neither it contained the names. If you will ask me, sir, what did it contain? It contained the symbols or the images or the pictures. What it had was not opcodes nor mnemonics. What it had was symbols. And remember, this language which had symbols, they called it as very high level language, it seems. High level language. And not only that, this is the fact that everyone of you should know now. Human brain is really worst in remembering the numbers. It is okay in remembering the names, but it is at its best, really at its best, to remember the images or symbols. I will prove it to you. Probably, what is a mnemonic for lesser than and equal to, or lesser than or equal to? Mnemonic for lesser than or equal to. You have written in your programs, but you will not tell. But if I will ask you here, what is the symbol for lesser than or equal to? Every one of you will tell. Literally every one of you will tell. Sir, less than, equal to, sir, like that you will tell off. Am I not correct? Why? Why? Because our brain is really such a active when it comes to remembering symbols or images. That is why in that scenario just now, whichever I have told, that you are seeing a person coming, your brain recognized him, you have seen him somewhere, that much memory your brain has. But what is his name? You don't know. Forget about his phone number. Expecting brain to remember name only is difficult. His phone number, forget about it. But see your brain, immediately it will recognize somewhere you have seen. Once if you would have seen that person also, it is sufficient. Your brain will tell somewhere you have seen. This is the fact of human brain, that it is worst in remembering numbers, okay in remembering names, at its best, really at its best in remembering the symbols. And in 1960s, for the first time, people invented such a programming language which had only symbols. And this high level language they have taken and they have given it to the processor. Processor plus means add, like that they told. Processor told get lost twice. Why sir? Why? Because it did not understand mnemonics only. What symbols it will understand? Certainly no. That is when in 1960s they bought in a new software called compiler. They bought in a new software called as compiler. If you ask me, sir, what this compiler does? First of all, what is this compiler? Compiler is a software which converts the high level language into machine level language. I repeat, it is a software which converts the instructions written in the high level language to machine level language. Initially, what did people do? They have written the instructions in this high level language. Directly they gave off. He did not understand. So they brought in compiler and they gave those instructions to the compiler. Compiler converted all those high level language into machine level language and they have given it to the processor. Just imagine people's happiness in 1960s. Just imagine. You can communicate with processor and tell what he needs to do it to you. Not by using opcode, not by using the mnemonic, by using high level language which you can remember the most. People were really very happy in 1960s, and remember, from 1960s till date, even today till date, we are using the high level language to program the processor or to tell processor what has to be done. From 1940s till date, we are using high level language. And of course, really with the help of compiler. Without compiler, you cannot simply use of high level language. With high level language, you have to use compiler. So you write the instructions in high level language, give it to compiler, compiler will convert and will give it to the processor. And processor will do whatever you tell it to do. I hope I am completely clear. Will this be asked in the interview? Some questions in this they will ask in the interview, not all. And secondly, not all the concepts that I will teach will be asked in the interview. Some concepts certainly I would teach for you to lay the strong foundation. Probably I am planning to build 13, 14 floors of knowledge. But if that strong foundation is not there, by the time I build 8th or 9th floor, the complete knowledge building only will fall down. So to have that strong base, I'm telling you all this. Some questions in this certainly are important in the interview or for the sake of the knowledge building. What is assembler? They would ask in the interview. What is assembler? What will you tell? Answering in the interview is also an art. What is assembler means don't tell, sir, assembler will convert. They never ask you what will assembler do. What is assembler? Assembler is a software. First you have to mention it. Assembler is a software. Now go on what it does and why it is built for. Assembler is a software which converts assembly level language instructions into corresponding machine level language instructions. What is compiler? Compiler is a software, first mention it, which converts high level language instructions into corresponding machine level language instructions. That is what is compiler. Not only that, they will ask you what is assembling. I would write it to you. What is assembling? Assembling. This process is there, no? The process of converting assembly level language to machine level language by using assembler. This process is called as assembling. I repeat, the process of converting assembly level language into machine level language by using assembler is called as assembling. Okay, now tell me what is compilation? Compilation, I would write it to you. Look at this. What is compilation? Compilation is the process of converting high level language into machine level language by using compiler. That is important. You should not miss that by using compiler. Because high level language can be converted to machine level language by using something else also. In future you will understand. But what is compilation? The process of converting high level language to machine level language by using compiler is called as compilation. And remember, these softwares, assemblers and compilers and many other interpreter also in future you will understand. All these softwares are called as language processors. I repeat, language processors they are. They are called as language processors. That question also they will ask in the interview. What are language processors? Language processors are the softwares which converts either assembly level language or high level language into machine level language. That only are language processors. I repeat, language processors are the softwares which converts either assembly level or high level into machine level. Can you give an example of a language processor? Give any software which does that. Assembler is a software which does that. Compiler is a software which does that. In future you will understand, interpreter is a software which does that. I hope I am completely clear about when did this concept of programming came into existence, what is programming all about, initially in what language they were programming, what was the disadvantage, then to what they have switched, what was the disadvantage, finally what came, from then till now what we are using, the softwares we are using, the processors what it is called as, and the language processor concept. Any doubts until here? Now copy this as it is. Of course, you will get the notes also, copy that notes also as it is.